Welcome. Another day in the market. Pretty interesting day yet again. We had a red morning for the most part, and then the NASDAQ and the S&P and the Russell all went green. But the ARKK ETF, which tracks a lot of mid-cap growth stocks, did not go green. That's been the scenario we've been seeing for a while. I'm sure if you're in innovation stocks, mid-caps, retail names, for the last month, it's just been horrible for a lot of them. And it's still continuing. We're still seeing them underperform. A lot of my swings personally are those types of stocks, so it's been pretty rough for them. We're going to cover everything. Before we get into the stocks, we're going to talk about Bitcoin for literally a couple minutes and some other cryptos. Right now, maybe a little bit of a 4-hour falling wedge for Bitcoin. Pretty small pattern. Maybe you could look at it as a bull flag after this run up for Bitcoin. The thing is, if you go above the 4-hour on Bitcoin, it's just kind of, there's not much to talk about on the daily. You don't really have any divergence. There's no patterns. You kind of had a very nice run up, and now you're just kind of pulling back a little bit. You had a little bit of a fake out trying to break this range. It's been in since the end of May. Other than that, not too much. Mr. Danny Eterno, thank you very much for the subscription. If you're new in the stream, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also make sure to hit that like button. Just helps to grow the stream. I just like talking about charts and what I see in the market. Right now, I'm just going to cover a couple other crypto trades that I put out. I'm just going to talk about how much they're up or down. There's really not much of a change. I think it just depends on Bitcoin, but Dogecoin is up 6% since the entry. It's currently just back testing the 200-day moving average. Atom is currently up 21% since the alert. Chainlink is currently up about 58% since the alert, or actually almost 60% since the alert 2 weeks ago. So if you got in on the Chainlink trade, you're currently up 60%. So congratulations to everybody who did get in on this probably between 10 and 15 days ago. I don't exactly remember when I put this out. And then finally, NU is still around the entry. Really not doing much. I just want to see this hold above 20 cents. And that's pretty much it for the altcoin trades. It just depends on Bitcoin. But moving back on over into stocks, futures are currently a little bit red. Overnight, NASDAQ futures are down 0.1%, and then S&P futures are down 0.16%, so nothing too crazy. Even Russell 2000 futures are down about 1/3%. Just a little bit red overnight. Looking at the overall market, the NASDAQ was up 0.5% today. That classic bearish divergence really has underperformed. You're still around all-time highs on the NASDAQ. Zooming in on the chart, it's still yet to fill a gap. We have a little bit of a gap at around 14,774 to fill, which is probably like nothing away. It's like literally 0.1% away. So really close to filling that gap finally on the 4-hour. The S&P was actually the leader today, pretty much. It was up 0.82%, also near all-time highs. And what's pretty interesting about this is the fear and greed index, which I could probably pull up really quickly, is at extreme fear right now. There is extreme fear according to this index. Me kind of moving on over. You can see it over here. Okay, it was at extreme fear earlier. It just moved up to regular fear. But earlier today, I took a screenshot and I posted it on Twitter. I mean, even just for it to be at fear is pretty interesting to see. We are at around all-time highs. This is kind of tracking a lot of different things. There's a little bit of a explanation over here if I just click that link. This tracks the momentum of the S&P 500, how many stocks are at 52-week highs, put in call options, market volatility, tracks a bunch of different things and just kind of makes it into like an easy signal. But a lot of fear trading for whatever reason. I mean, obviously you do have, the Delta variant and also the tapering potential for the near term, short term, I don't know. And then a bunch of other things that obviously are always going to be concerns. There's always going to be something happening in the market that can be at a certain risk to traders and investors. But it's really interesting. We still are seeing the large cap indices just float on higher, kind of like they're an autopilot, but a lot of names, a lot of stocks, especially popular stocks, are not really enjoying this move up. The small cap index, the Russell 2000, was actually green today after a pretty rough morning. It had a very good afternoon rally. But the ARKK ETF also had a morning pullback, and then it just really underperformed. It did bounce back almost 1% or a little bit over 0.5% in the afternoon, but It ended up closing red, and again, it's not an actual index, it's just an ETF, and it has weighting a little bit different compared to a lot of other indices, but I do use this to kind of see how mid caps and growth stocks and retail stocks are doing, and really it's just been underperforming. I mean, if we're going to zoom out, this has been underperforming since February, when a lot of SPACs and EVs and pot stocks topped out for the year. But even since then, it's just been going relatively sideways since March, while the S&P has been going up since March. So it's not necessarily that this is going down, it's just kind of going sideways while everything else is going up. And it's just really interesting. So just finally to finish off the overall market talk, the Dow Jones was up 0.80% today. The US 10-year yields might be at this little demand line right now. Not too much there. And then finally the VIX was up in the morning when we had a little bit of a pullback across the board, but then it ended up falling in the afternoon when most things bounced apart from, again, those mid caps and growth stocks. But yeah, you know, going into tomorrow, futures are relatively just flat right now. We have ROKU and Uber, I believe, reporting after the close tomorrow. Also, I think, let me just take a look at it really quickly. We also have Etsy and Fastly reporting tomorrow after the close. GM, CVS, and Kraft Heinz and Royal Caribbean Cruises are reporting in the morning. Today we had Skills, Activision, SunPower, and Lyft report after the close. So another pretty busy earnings week. Even on Thursday we have Square, Virgin Galactic, Beyond Meat, Viacom, Zillow Group. And then Friday we have DraftKings, Norwegian Cruises, Occupation, Goodyear, Magna. So another pretty busy, we're pretty much in earnings season right now. So obviously keep an eye out for all those earnings, especially if you're in those names. One of the swing trades did get stopped out today. We're going to talk about it a little bit on an earnings. I think they might have beaten on, or I think they missed on EPS, and then I don't know, but Skills, I could just look it up really quickly. So apparently, according to Google, Skills beat on revenue, and then I guess maybe they missed on EPS. I don't even know, but Skills was down 3% after hours. We'll look at the chart in a little bit here. But yeah, just another weird day, I guess. Not really a weird day, but just a continuation of this divergence we're seeing from mid caps to large caps. And yeah, make sure to hit that like button if you're watching the stream. Hit that subscribe button. We're really close to 2,700 subs. We only need about 10 more to hit that next 100. Also, chat is super slow. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. Say what's up. Appreciate the likes. Thank you for the 10. Chatter Free says advance/decline has been flat, not making a higher high, throwing caution flags. Larry Williams has been signaling we are trading higher on lower volume. We can take a look at the SPY ETF. It's actually already on my watch list, apparently, right over here. And yeah, we are definitely increasing on the SPY while we are decreasing on volume. We did see this a little bit over here. As you can see, we were going up in this range, but the volume, on the other hand, was going down. Sorry, I'm kind of blocking it. And then we did get that 2-3% correction, and then we just kind of ran again. But we have seen this be a little bit of a weak bias whenever we're kind of trending higher on lower volume for the SPY this year. It's not been too good, but usually you end up making a higher low and then you just run to new all-time highs. I mean, market still has been making an amazing rally really ever since the COVID crash. But yeah, that's really the breakdown of the day. We're probably going to talk about Clover first, and we're going to talk about all the ongoing trades. After that, we'll do take requests for the majority of the stream. You know, the streams have been a little bit more quiet lately. It's just whatever it is, I don't know. Maybe it's just summer, but always showing up, just trying to talk about what I'm seeing on charts. So just to start off with Clover, hidden bullish divergence on the daily is still confirmed on the MACD, which looks good. Today was really just a flat day. Nothing really changed for Clover in the morning. There was some news that came out. It sent, I think Clover was up at like, let's see. So from the open to the high. So Clover was up like 4%, I believe, or something at one point. Like really early in the morning on that news. I think there was some Florida news that came out. And then when the market pulled back, this just kind of pulled back with the market and never really recovered when the market did in the afternoon. So at the end of it all, it just kind of had a flat day, which is completely fine. Really the last honestly, this whole entire like last 12 days, I mean, this is only, this is about 8 trading days. I guess we had 2 weekends. Really, we've just been in this range between like the high 790 area and then as support, and then the resistance has just been around like 850. We got a little bit above 850 day on CLOV, but then it just kind of pulled back down again with the market. But from a technical standpoint, nothing changed. You're still just going sideways. You still have the hidden bullish divergence. You still could potentially be triple bottoming at the pattern completion zone of a bullish crab harmonic pattern. This is the same type of pattern that led to a very nice bounce off of all-time lows. I put out a trade setup on March 5th at those lows, around them, at the same exact type of pattern, or with the same pattern. So we'll see what all this can turn into. Alongside, we now have 2 days outside of this wedge. So from a technical standpoint, I've been saying this for a while now. It's kind of like a broken record at this point, but it's still there. It's just all the pops have been selling off. There's been a bunch of good news. It's just every single time it's either like shorts might be attacking it, or the market just pulls back, or whatever it is. There's just a lot of back holders, and it's just not really holding gains, which has made it tough to swing trade this name. But it's been really good as like a day trader with options. Again, if you're in premium, we did have our first miss today on Clover, but we did have a 9 streak until today. Today I broke the streak, unfortunately. But yeah, a lot of day traders in there, and I can't complain because I've been doing the same with options, though not with shares. But I just look for opportunities that can make me money. I see that this stock has been nonstop bouncing up, you know, with technicals or with catalysts, and then it just fades away. So I've just been day trading that with calls, and we were 9 for 9. And then today we kind of missed a little bit. It just never recovered with the rest of the market. Yeah, it's been fun to day trade it, but hopefully it can start doing better as a swing, even maybe as a long term. You know, I know a lot of people on this name really like it long term. I like the fundamentals, but for right now, it's just the float's not doing, or the float psychology is just not the best. Hopefully that can change at some point. Moving on, X is another trade idea I put out. I'm just going to cover all the trade ideas for like 5-10 minutes. After you do that, I'm just going to look at tickers for all of you in the chat. So just wait for like 10 minutes, and then I'm going to look at tickers for everybody for the rest of the stream. But yeah, make sure to hit that like button. We have 30 people in here. Let's get to 20 likes right now. All you gotta do is click that button. It doesn't make me money, I think it helps to grow the stream. I don't even know if that's a fact, but it just makes me happier to see a little bit more support in there, especially when we have, you know, weeks with lower viewers. And everybody has been crushing it on the likes. We've still been getting 50 likes a stream, which is crazy because we're only getting like 30 average or 20 average viewers some nights, which, you know, it's the lowest I've had since I started streaming pretty much. But again, you always just got to show up, and then good times always come back around the corner, I guess. Medi says, shout out to Champ. My small account for options gone parabolic. If y'all not in premium, you missing out. Yeah, you know, I'm never going to say premiums for everybody, but definitely if you're somebody who wants to trade a lot and you want like constant updates and just a bunch of different ideas, from options to swings to weekly watch lists, the link's always in the description. I don't talk about it on the stream too much. I just don't want to turn the stream into me promoting it. But if anybody brings it up in the chat, I will feel free to talk about it as well. So thank you, Medi, for bringing that up. What else we got? No, I have not done Fisker yet. We're actually going to be doing right after I do X, which is United States Steel. It was actually up 3% today. This trade's up about 2% since the entry yesterday. I'm looking at this as a long-term idea. This, you know, could go up, down, up, down. I'm just kind of zooming out on the chart. I see a major cup and handle with a bunch of divergence on the daily at a very historical area. That's really what I'm looking at. So I don't really care that it's up 2% right now. I'm looking for a much larger move within like maybe a month, maybe a little bit over a month. You never know. It also depends on how all that infrastructure stuff goes, and I guess the overall market. So just kind of sitting back for right now on that idea. Fisker got wrecked today, unfortunately. This trade is now down 4% since the entry, which isn't the end of the world, but this is the most the trade has been down since I put out the idea. It's pretty much been in profit the whole time until today. Just, I guess, a lot of selling. Earnings, I think, are on the 5th, which would be Thursday according to TradingView. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. The hidden bullish divergence, there's still potential for it on Fisker, but you need that MACD to start waning again and start moving back towards green for the confirmation. And then hopefully can get back above the 200-day moving average. But just a really rough day for Fisker, kind of just selling off the whole entire day. Never really got a bounce back. It just was making lower highs all day. This is interesting though. A lot of volume came in like right around the close. Barely moved the price though. And that's really it for Fisker. I just want to see this hold above 1450. That is the good news, I guess. 1450 has historically been a very good area of support. If you remember back in just last December and this January, that was like the steel wall of support. So hopefully we can just stay above that. The stop loss is about 50 cents under that. And that's really it for the Fisker trade. Skills. This got stopped out after hours. Earnings were today. I talked about it in the Discord. Earnings are always up to you personally, and I talked about this last night on the stream. You can go back and watch it. Personally, I don't trade tickers around earnings. If I was in a swing trade before earnings because of technicals, which is pretty much the reason for most of my swing trades. Okay, so my camera froze. Let me fix that. Great. Still frozen. Let's see. What just happened? All right, let me see if I can fix this. If not, I'm gonna have to plug in my other camera. No, that was a terrible face. Do not put that in the meme channel. Alright, so I'm gonna plug in my other camera. I'm gonna need like a minute here. I'm sorry, I don't know if this is gonna kill the viewership, but I do have another camera that's already, is that packed up? This is just not optimal, I guess. Is there any way for me to fix this? Great. Alright, so here's what's gonna happen. I need to go get my other camera. I'm gonna go on like a little bit of a be right back screen. I'll be back in like literally 1 minute. Alright. Alright, so let me try out my other camera right now. Let's see. Why is this not connecting though? Apologies for all this. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Let's see. Trying everything I can here. It's just not loading it. Alright, so most likely I'm just gonna have to, I guess, do this without a camera. I don't even know at this point. Alright, there we go. I think alright, I might have it. And it's so dark too. Whatever, I'm just gonna try and stream like this, I guess. Can I fix the brightness? Alright, give me another sec. Let me try and fix this. Oh my gosh. All right, this is like the best I can do, and like it's like super laggy. I don't know why this happened. I think we're just gonna run with it, all right? It's really bad, but that's like the best I can do. So at least you can just kind of see my face, even though it's like, whatever. I'm just gonna get back to the charts. Hopefully everybody's still in the stream. Yeah, I might have to refund everybody for this stream. Apologies for that, but we're gonna get back to it. If you can somehow see me right now, we're just gonna talk about, I was talking about earnings before everything happened. You know, I talked about this last night. I don't really do much with earnings. If I'm in a swing because of technicals, I kind of get out before the earnings, then I re-enter after if I need to. But I wasn't even in skills in the first place personally, and it did get stopped at after hours. But yeah, just bringing it up because it was a failed trade. We always got to bring up those. BlackBerry was up like 0.5% today. It actually confirmed hidden bullish divergence today. It's just really, the price action is just not there for right now, so hopefully this can start going. Wish also had a flat day. Really no change for Wish. I just want to see it hold above $9.70. Hidden bullish divergence is still confirmed. According to TradingView, earnings are on the 12th of the month, so we'll see how that goes. Next resistance for Wish is really just like $11.10, which was the low on May 11th, and it was resistance in the beginning of June. I think you can definitely test that as long as it continues to hold 970. And then finally, QS, it's kind of hanging on by a thread. It just has to bounce off this low $21 area. So again, you know, for a lot of ARK type stocks, EVs and pot stocks and retail names, which, I mean, Fisker, Wish, QS, BlackBerry, those are those types of stocks. They're just not doing well despite the technicals or whatever. They're just being overridden. So that's really it for the recap today. I know I kind of had to rush through it. It was just some technical difficulties, but yeah, I'm just gonna spend the rest of the stream doing ticker requests. So make sure, let's get 20 likes right now. We only need 3 more likes. So let's see what's in the chat while I was gone. Let's see. Room temperature T says, you think AMC is gonna keep dumping tomorrow? Puts are printing. We'll take a look at it in a second here. I don't like AMC under $36, so that's the important level to me. Nikola also, I think they had bad guidance or something, and I mean their revenue was $0 as expected. Just everything with Nikola has just been rough. Cheddar Free says 1983 vibes. I hate the camera like this, but at least you can kind of see me. I know it's really like my mouth is probably like super out of sync with like my voice, but and I know it's like kind of weird. It's just, at least you can see me. I know it's just, it makes it a lot better, I guess, than not seeing me, or maybe not. Room temperature T says puts are risky. Did the put in the support on the 15-minute just on low volume, hoping it dumps to 31. We'll take a look. Looks like a 1990s MTV music video. Yeah, I had to just like kind of turn on the exposure because it was like way too dark. I don't even know. I'll fix it for tomorrow night's stream. It's just hard to fix the camera like midstream and go through all the settings. Because I'm not using my MacBook camera right now, I'm using a Logitech camera, so it's like you have to manually configure all the coloring and lighting and all that stuff, which I just don't have time to do right now. But yeah, let's take a look at tickers in the chat for the rest of the stream. Might be a little bit of a fast stream, we'll see. I'll try and do the 1 hour as usual. And we said we're gonna look at AMC. But yeah, don't request anything that was up over 30% today, or anything that IPO'd within the last month. Yeah, we can take a look at the ticker New Cam for sure. CCTV vibes. I was gonna put that in as a ticker. CBAT. Battery charging sector looks good to me. We'll take a look at a couple other battery chargers. We already looked QS, we've already been looking at. But we'll take a look at, I believe, isn't ChargePoint? Actually, there might be like a charging station. I don't know. What's another one? There was isn't INDI one semiconductor? I think they do chips. So what's another EV battery? But we'll take a look at that. NCTY, AHT.
let me skip that song. All right, let's start looking at them. AMC up first. I don't like it under 36. 36, if we go all the way back to 2015 and 2016, it was your previous resistance around all-time highs. It's been trying to use that as support, for the end of July. It did hold it, but it just broke it yesterday, and then it had some fall through today. As soon as it broke 36 yesterday, I looked at it while it was breaking it. I was like, all right, I'm not touching AMC. Probably not going to touch it until it at least gets back above it or it comes all the way down to 21. Again, that's not me saying AMC is going to go to 21. It's just like in between $21 and 36 is just very unclear to me, because all it's done between these two levels is go straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up. So we'll see what happens now. But it's just between 21 and 36 is kind of like a no touch zone for me personally. Either above 36 I would like it, or at 21 if there's like divergence in a pattern down there I would like it. That's another important area historically. But that's what I'd be looking at. I'm sure you're talking about the short term with those puts. I mean, if we zoom into the chart, I guess you're just hoping that you hold these lows from like the middle of July, around 32, 31 if you're a bull. Other than that, I mean, this could eventually turn into like a butterfly, but it's not even close to any PCZs yet. Yep, came right down to the 786 and then it bounced. And yeah, I mean, the butterfly PCZs would be far lower. So yeah, I would just be watching like this previous low from the middle of July. That would be like your next support pretty much. But you never know. You never know with tickers like AMC and GameStop and all of them. Next up is Visa. This one's been getting beaten down since earnings pretty much. I mean, it's still around the level, but I would like to just see it hold above this high from April 29th. It was even like a 3-day resistance at the end of June. I want to see this above 238. It's currently like $1 below that. If it doesn't hold that, I think it has room back down to 228. I just don't see much apart from those two levels on the chart. I don't see any divergence. I don't see any patterns. It already had a really good run. It hit a 1.618 golden ratio pretty much. Then it started pulling back. I'm not too sure. It even probably broke this demand line as well. Yesterday it broke under it, and then today it had fall through price action to the downside. So I just want to see it get back above 238. BABA is up next. This one's just been super choppy. Weren't earnings today? And I think earnings might have been pre-market today. Well, I guess they were. Yes, I don't know how it works with China and the timing on that, but it's kind of above this 196 level, which was support in May, resistance in May of 2019, resistance in August of 2018. I do like it above 196. It's just a matter of if it can hold it. I mean, this thing's been gapping all over the place with good news, bad news. I mean, just sector-wide, Chinese stocks have been very, very volatile. It's like, not only is it very 50-50 from a fundamental standpoint for the short term because of all the different news coming out, but also it's very 50-50 from a technical standpoint because it's just, since it's been going all over the place, gapping up and gapping down, it's just like, what do you even call this? It's just like a bunch of random candles all over the place, which BABA usually doesn't have this type of setup. Usually it has full candles for the most part, and it's developing patterns and ranges, but for right now it's just kind of like up, down, up, down. I mean, so I just be watching these levels that you can see on the chart. Those are the important levels to me, and other than that, we'll see what happens. Microsoft, it truly amazes me. There's triple classic bearish divergence on Microsoft. It's hit multiple PCZs of bearish patterns. It broke out to the upside of an upsloping channel, which is pretty hard to do. I was even looking at this as a potential put play, which I never really got any confirmation on. We day traded it once, but I was looking at it for like a longer term put idea, and it just never really confirmed. It's so strong. So if I kind of delete everything, now there's actually a chance for hidden bullish divergence on the daily. So it's just, the trend is just immensely powerful right now. I mean, even if you chart it like this, you've broken out to the upside and you even back tested the breakout. So it's like, I think anything above this previous supply line is now your support. You look at it like this, right? You broke out of it right over here, then you came back down, you flipped it into a support, and then you ran higher. So the trend is your friend for right now on Microsoft. That's the easiest way to put it. There is a gap fill though, around 281. So we'll see if that fills. Next up, we got Square, multi-level range. It does look similar to AMD, and as well as a few others. What was the other one? I think it was NVIDIA. You know, they were range bound and then they broke out and they went crazy. This is kind of like before. Like, look, we could just kind of look at this side by side with AMD, which has been going nuts. Take a look at it like this. You could see, like, they are pretty similar charts if I zoom out, right? So, you know, that's how I'm kind of looking at it. Very similar to when AMD was like right. Square looks very similar to AMD when it was like right over here. The only thing is like, how will it perform? Like, because what AMD has been doing has just been exceptional. So I don't know if Square can do the same. And obviously they're not really the same type of company. They're just similar looking charts. But you know, big volume, I believe, on earnings yesterday maybe. So we'll see how that kind of affects things. Today was just kind of like an inside day. ATOS is next up. You do have hidden bullish divergence still trying to develop on the daily, on the MACD and on the RSI. It is at the 200-day moving average. Let's see. I don't think it's deep enough for a bullish shark just yet. If you look at it kind of like this, actually it's pretty close to a bullish shark on the daily. And then even if you don't look at it like a higher high, so this is one way to look at it as a potential harmonic, and then the other way would just kind of be like this. I mean, there's a few different ways. You can look at it like this as well. And even that would be close to a bullish bat. So you could have a bullish shark, you could have a bullish bat, and then maybe even a bullish crab. Or a butterfly, actually. At the 1272. Yeah, it's not really at a butterfly PCZ for right now, but it could eventually go a little bit lower. And then down at this 217 support from May, and from March, and from last September, and from last May, you could have a butterfly. So a lot of different potential harmonics. If we kind of stop looking at all of that, then you can just kind of look at it like this. So yeah, a lot going on with this chart right now, even like a falling wedge. It's just a matter of when it decides to start showing green candles again. It's been pretty rough for this ever since the end of June. So we'll see what this can do. I would just like to see it hold the 200-day moving average. Otherwise, there could be room back down to $2.17. And then in terms of resistance, I mean, you don't have much resistance until 487. There is a lot of upside potential. There's even gaps to fill, but it just depends on the bulls stepping up and the volume increasing. CBAT is next up. This was a failed trade about a month ago or something. Let me just clear this all up. A potential for hidden bullish divergence on the daily for CBAT. I like it better above 4 though. You know, 4 is the more important level to me. It's under that for right now. I don't see much of any pattern. Just like a downsloping channel with some potential hidden bullish divergence. I think it might come down to earnings in the middle of the month. Charge points, another similar name. Also in the EV space, hidden bullish divergence developing on the daily, on the MACD and RSI. Not much of any pattern on the daily though. INDI is another EV. This chart's really hard to even. This is 50-50 to me. NCTY. I think it just needs to hold above $8.60. I mean, that was your support in 2019. It was your resistance in 2020. It was your support in January of this year, and it was your support last month. $8.60 is a huge level on NCTY. There is some classic bullish divergence already playing out. You already have seen a bounce. It's just kind of consolidating for right now. Maybe a little bit of like a triangle over here, so we could see which way this breaks, and hopefully that could be telling. I would just be looking at it like this. Yeah, just a little bit of a symmetrical triangle. Next up is AHT. Didn't this stock have like a split or something? I don't even know. Wasn't? No, that wasn't. That was what was the name that was it? HT? Somebody help me out with this. What am I thinking about? It was like a split or reverse. I don't even remember. Wasn't it a reverse merger? No, it was on, it was a very similar name. It did have a reverse split. I can't even remember right now. Just so many different things in the market, but so it was a reverse. Okay, thank you. So I don't know if the data's all messed up because of that, but $13 looks like the support to me back from September, October of last year. I guess it must have gapped down and just gotten crushed with that reverse split stuff. I don't know, maybe this could turn into an alternate bat. A little bit deep on the B point. That would be more of like a Gartley or a crab. It already passed the Gartley, so then it could only be a crab. I mean, it's around the 3618 from B to D, but it's kind of like around like the same base level as X, which you should not really have for a crab, so I wouldn't even look at it like that. I would just, honestly, I just look at it as like a range. You're near the bottom of the range, around 13 bucks. The top of the range would be 42. You kind of just fell back into the range, I guess, on the news or whatever with a split 1 to 10, or 10 to 1, however you're supposed to say it, and then it just kind of fell all the way back down to the bottom. So you have some short-term resistance at 1857. If you break that, there is a gap fill at 39.50 around the top of the range. You have the 200-day moving average and a candle high at around $30.50. So a lot of different levels here. It just depends on if bulls can come back into this stock or not. It's definitely, you know, had a very rough past month. But yeah, that was AHT. Keep hitting that like button. We need one more like to hit 20 likes right now. Pfizer was a monster today, maybe following Moderna. We already looked at BABA. It'll be in the timestamps. SNPR is Volta. Okay, we'll take a look. Yeah, Robinhood had a big run today. Not much I can do looking at the chart on the 4-hour or the daily. Maybe if you go to like the 30-minute, you can see patterns and stuff. But Robinhood was all-time highs today after a rough IPO date, what, like last week? And phase. All right. Yeah, Pfizer, I mean, I think anything above 43 is good. That was your resistance in 2018. It was your resistance last December. It's another one that just broke to, I believe, new all-time highs, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, actually. So it actually does have some dating back to, like, literally before I was born. So, like, dating back to, like, the year 2000. You got some resistance at $46.69 and then $47.43. Not really resistance, but a couple candle highs. I mean, really, even at where it kind of broke above today, $45.54, you've had four different candle highs. A lot of different things there. But I mean, if you just zoom out, like, look at that. It's like a this is like a 22-year cup and handle. That's like insane. Wow. 22-year cup and handle. This pattern on a chart has been developing since before I was alive. I don't know why I just did that in a second. There we go. So that's just really cool to see. I mean, all right. I don't even know if you would want to use the measured move for something that took 21 years, because maybe it takes 21 years to hit the measured move of the breakout if it does break out in the first place. But just for fun, we can see what the measured move of this would be on Pfizer. The whole entire chart is pretty much a cup and handle, but the measured move would be around $82. I mean, that's not insane to think about. The stock already went from 26 to 46. So I mean, it's already done a, what, 70% increase in about a year and a half. So, you know, it's possible for it to do another 70% increase. Obviously depends on the market, but Yeah, what a 20-year cup and handle. That's probably the largest cup and handle I've seen. Let me just, I might post this on Twitter later, but let me just line this all up for a second. All right, there we go. That's crazy though. So let's bring that back. Keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 30 likes. The guy says, how do you do those measurements? Not the shift and click one, I mean. How do you do those measurements? So I think you might just be talking about the price tool. You go down to like this drop down where it gives like the long position or whatever, you just go down to the price range. I don't know if you're talking about that. And then you click wherever you want and then move up to wherever you want. And then the quicker way to do it is just you hit the shift and click like you said, and then it just pops up and then goes away whenever you click out of it. I think that's what you mean. Let me know if not. Okay, all right, perfect. And then NETE. Let's go back over to the daily. You have some hidden bullish divergence on the daily right now for net element. Kind of like an ascending triangle. You're making higher lows, your sell wall is around $13. If it breaks above 13, I think this has room to 15 next after that. Just depends. I mean, it was literally over 13 today, but then it had a huge fall. From the high of the day to the close, it fell almost 11%. Wow. And some pretty big volume as well. I don't know if there was news or whatever today, but it looks like it gapped up and then it just kind of faded. 13 would be your breakout. You just want to hold above this domain line in the 200-day moving average around $11. So really what you want to do on this is break above 13 before falling under 11. That's how I'd be looking at it. But this is technically a bearish engulfing candle. You bearishly engulfed 3 different days within one candle, which I think there's a name for that. I forget the name of it though. So you never know. Mehdi says, imagine holding Pfizer for another 21 years just for the TA to fail. Yeah, that would suck. But hey, I mean, if the stock price doubled in a year, I think it could be possible for it to double again within 20 years, but obviously the COVID crash and obviously Pfizer with the vaccines, you know, the fundamentals kind of make sense there. And obviously there's so many stocks that have doubled, tripled, quadrupled, quintupled since the COVID crash. It's just been an insane market. So SNPR is next. This is a SPAC. It just, you know, I say this all the time, probably just depends on what the actual merger would be. I don't know who this is merging with. Is Volta, says Try to Freeze. Okay, so, you know, from a technical standpoint, it's around that $10 base that you see most SPACs around. There's not much technically until around $10.50 as your next resistance. But yeah, we'll see how this does as well. EVs were wild, you know, last fall to pretty much like January to mid-February of this year, and they've not been so hot for the most part. You know, Tesla's been going sideways all year. Lucid is way off all-time highs. Fisker is way off all-time highs. NIO is not way off, but it is off all-time highs. And they've all hit all-time highs within the last year. So yeah, it's interesting for sure to see, you know, how the industry went up and now it's, you know, down. And again, when EVs were going crazy and all the EVs were just going to the moon, and I wasn't a genius to say this, anybody who's been in the market for a long time, and I haven't even been in the market for a long time, it's just I've studied the market for a long time and I put a lot of hours in, but like it was too obvious that the EVs were just a bubble. And still a lot of the EV stocks, we're seeing Nikola continue to die down. A lot of these EV stocks are just going to completely fail, but there are going to be a handful that could be the best investment opportunities of the decade. You never know. I'm not saying it's going to be Fisker, but I hope it would be. But obviously that's a very long shot. But hey, I'm all about hoping, and you never know. That's all I'm going to say. I forgot that my camera was so horrible. Oh my gosh, I just looked back at my screen. Can't even talk. Great, that just kind of gave me some, like, I don't know, annoyance. I just want to kind of turn off the camera, but whatever. Yeah, let's continue on. FUBO, just messing around. Really, it's in a range between 25 or 24.50 and 28. I think whichever way it breaks this range will be telling. I mean, if you zoom out, it kind of does look like a potential inverse head and shoulders, but earnings will probably make the decision of if this pattern continues to develop or not. I think a break above 28 would be huge. It could send it back to 31, but if it cannot, see some bullish momentum, there's room back down to 22 as your closest support. Hidden bullish divergence is possible, but it's not really developing. LOTZ is up next. It's still trying to hold on to these lows, a little bit of rounding action over here. Still have some bullish convergence on the daily, but earnings on the 9th according to TradingView, it all comes down to that. Activision, I think, got crushed on earnings maybe. It says earnings were today though, so I don't know if they were after hours. It was I can't talk. It was up 6% after hours. So what did it go to? 84.70. So it gapped down today, and then after hours went all the way back up to around over here, where that green line is. So if it opens up over there, then you just want to have 82 as your support. That was actually where you closed yesterday at. It was at that 82 level, which was resistance last October. You just want to hold above 82.50. But there will be a gap to fill. Wow. So you had a gap down today. If the pre-market holds up, tomorrow you're going to have a gap up, kind of like an abandoned baby. You don't really have a doji candle here. It's more of like almost like a pin bar, but you never know. You will have a gap to fill to the downside if it gaps up, obviously. Instead of a gap to fill to the upside because it's already broken above that after hours. We'll see what happens. It depends on the pre-market. I would just like to see it hold above 82.56, which was resistance here, support here, resistance here, and then it held it yesterday and then it gapped down today. Matterport, not much I can really do. There's not a lot of data on this chart. Maybe just a little bit of like an ascending channel, ascending wedge, kind of in the middle of it as well, so that's not really clear. I would say this is your important level, or like this mid $14 area. It was resistance over here, support over here, even resistance over here. I would just like to see it hold above this zone. I think this is like the halfway point for this stock. I mean, not from like a Fibonacci standpoint, but like just like looking at the momentum, you had the craziness above it, and then you had the bearish trend under it. I think above this level could be bullish, and then but below it could be bearish. You're just above it, which is good, but it's just like that's it. You know what I'm saying? There's not much divergence or any patterns today. Was a bearish engulfing candle. You bearishly engulfed 2 days worth of price action in 1 day. So we'll see what happens. Just want to see it hold above 14. ATIP was up 20% today. There's nothing I can do here. I have no clue. I don't see a pattern, divergence, anything. The price action pretty much. It actually somehow made a bullish pin bar at all-time lows, and it's gone up like since all-time lows. It's already gone up 60% in a few days. I don't know if there was a catalyst or what has been going on with this, but maybe it just dumped on earnings. Now it's just trying to kind of curl back up. It's from a technical standpoint, I have no clue. Not bullish or bearish, just completely neutral. And I don't know anything about that. What's going on over here, but it sounds familiar for whatever reason. I think we might have looked at this before. I don't know. I don't even know if I had it charted. GE is next up. So the split is what everybody was talking about in the chat earlier. Yesterday, was it a regular split? So I think this level used to be 13 though. What was the share price? Everything's going to be updated. Great. Actually, yeah, they really updated the whole entire history of the stock, adjusted to the split. Oh my gosh, my camera is so bad right now. Let's see if it's not updated here. Nope, they updated everything. I was trying to see what the price was before. I think, was it 13 or 14 bucks before? I can't remember. But this is like a really important zone over here. Which is currently this 101 to 106 area. It was resistance in 2018, 2020. It was support in pretty much May of this year. So that's really it. I mean, you just want to break back above this zone, then it has room up to $115, and that's it. End phase. It's currently just moving right now. A little bit of hidden bullish divergence on the daily. Uh, 175 was your support in January, and it was your resistance in March and April. I would like to see us hold above 175. Your next resistance is like 220 from your previous highs over here. I don't see much of a pattern. Just kind of running on earnings, I guess. So I just want to see it hold above 175. Jeff says, I don't think the camera is that bad actually. Mehdi says the same. I don't know. It's just, maybe I'm just very picky. I'm always I have like a lot of OCD around my stream especially. Friggin' Cards with a $15 tip. Thank you very, very much. Let's get some vibes in the chat for Friggin' Cards. Thank you again for another tip and also for the first tip of the stream. Appreciate it very much. What's good, champ? Don't always make the stream, but watch it every night. Yeah, literally like a day one in here, Friggin' Cards. UNH has a nice inverse head and shoulders about to break out to all-time highs. Also a bull flag breakout. Though we are a little late. Curious if you see anything else. Yeah, we'll take a look right now. Thank you again for the 15 vibes in the chat for Friggin' Cards. So we got UNH, United Health Group. So you're talking about nice inverse head and shoulders and a bull flag breakout. Yeah, I see a little bit of both. I'm just gonna chart it. I'm looking at it like this over here. And then you're probably looking at this as like the flag. Something like that. And then it even broke out of the inverse head and shoulders. So even if we take away the flag, look at it like this, you might be breaking out of an inverse head and shoulders right now. No divergence on the daily, but that is bullish convergence. You made a higher low on price and on the MACD and on the RSI. Nice green candle today. It was up 1.5% and highest volume in about 4 days. So yeah, a few different ways you could look at this. I don't know why that just moved. So if you want to just go with the measured move of this pattern, you go from the head of the pattern up to the neckline, then you take that and then you paste it right on the breakout point, and your measured move would be around $456. Another way to look at this would be Fibonacci. I think the best way to do it would probably just be from this little high to this low. Go back over to the daily, and your 1272 would be 426, your 1618 would be 431, your 2618 would be 447, and then again that measured move is 456, and then so on. You know, that's really all you can do, I guess, at all-time highs. You're saying also bigger bull flag from May 10th. Oh, okay, so yeah, I mean, if we look at it, yeah, so if you look at it like this, then yeah, that is like pretty much a textbook bull flag. Wow. I think I actually might be wrong about this, but I think the way to kind of target this would be a bull pull and then a bull flag. I think it might be like this. This would be the way to do a measured move of a bull flag. I might be completely off here, but I think it would be like that. And then the measured move would be around 486. Let me take a look. Let me see. Yeah, so Volkowski does actually measure them like that. I'll bring it up on the screen really quickly. So this is Thomas Volkowski's website, I believe. This is where I've learned a lot of the patterns from, or just kind of confirmed most of them. But you look at it like this, the measure rule, it's like this right over here. You take the lowest point before the pole to the top of the flag, and then I believe, but he might be putting the bottom of the measured move at the lowest point of the flag. So actually something like this, and then it'd be 471. So yeah, I mean, measured moves, they're not really historical areas. They're not real supply and demand. They're just kind of the way to kind of look at patterns and the potential price movement that they can bring for the short-term future. I don't know the exact statistics on how often they hit their measured moves, but definitely just another part that you can add to your chart to help you, manage your risk and look for profit-taking areas. So I believe it would be something like that. Let's see. So flag, pull, flag. I don't know if there's a bigger screenshot. I don't see one, but yeah. So that's UNH. Thank you again. That does seem a little bit aggressive. Yeah. I mean, again, it could take a while. It's been kind of creating this pattern since February, the bull pull and then the bull flag. But yeah, thank you again, friggin' cards, for the 15. Really appreciate it. Thank you for everybody who dropped vibes in the chat. Yeah, we'll see what this turns into. It's a really good trend on UNH. Trying to see if there's anything else I could kind of bring up. I think that's really it for this one. Pretty straightforward chart, yeah. And then do we finish up on end phase? I think we did for the most part. Let me scroll up. I don't remember what we were at. Okay, so one more like to hit 30 likes. DraftKings has earnings on Friday, I believe, so technicals don't really matter until we see how that goes. Alright, so these will be the final 3 takers of the night. DraftKings, VXRT, and then RES. Just gonna look at these 3. They're already in the chat, and I'll probably get out of here. So yeah, I mean, for DraftKings, we've been looking at it. It's just a little bit of hidden bearish divergence on the daily going into earnings. Your closest support is 47.20. Maybe in a little bit of a down sloping channel. I'd probably look at it like this, actually, because since it was a fake out, I would just change my trend line. Just be a little bit more conservative right there. So I mean, it depends on how the earnings goes. I mean, these are your levels if you want to take a screenshot or whatever. We'll see how earnings go. And then VXRT, so up 7% today. I'd look at it like this, a little bit of a triangle. So it just depends on whichever way it breaks. I do like it that it's above 847. That was your resistance. That was your support on August 3rd of last year. October 13th, it was your resistance last year. December 1st, it was your resistance last year. Resistance in February of this year. Even resistance at the end of July. So I like it above 847. Hopefully you can hold that and then eventually break out if it does. You got another resistance at 928. Oh, look at that. So your high from July 29th recently was around 928. And if we go back in time, that was your resistance last September. So that would be like the next level. And then probably $10 psychological area. It was your candle high on June 11th. And then finally 11. So pretty much like $9.30, then 10, then 11. That's your resistances. And then for supports, I mean, this would probably be your support area. The 200-day moving average, the demand line of this pattern, just right over there. If it decides to come back down. And then final ticker of the night is RES. BBIG, I know we went over skills that got stopped. I think I already took BBIG off my watch list, so we did not go over it. We can just, another failed trade, we can just look at it. That'll actually be the final ticker. But RES, you were talking about huge Garley with the double bottom. I think you're gonna be looking at it like this. Yeah, bullish Garley, double bottom at the PCZ. And look at that. Look at that. This 394 level. Support in February of 2020. Resistance in December of 2020. And now support once again. So historical area. What else can we do here? Classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour MACD. Classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour RSI as well. Same level on price, higher low on the RSI. So 4-hour bullish divergence, daily bullish Gartley at a historical level. Pretty good. And then earnings apparently happened on the 28th of July. Doesn't look like that changed too much if that is correct on the earnings date. Anything else here? Let's see. What about that? It's also bullish crab, potentially double bottoming at the PCZ. Visual order bring to front. Yeah, I think that looks good to me. 3618 from B to D. So let me bring this back over to the daily. All right. And then I'll just make that yellow for a second. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix all my settings. So bullish crab and bullish Gartley hitting a PCZ and then double bottoming at the PCZ. With 4-hour classic bullish divergence at a historical area. Yeah, that's a lot on that chart for sure. Wow. So I think this was the lump or the guy. Very impressive. Even, yeah, on the daily you also have classic bullish divergence on the RSI. So wow. RES, which is RPC Inc. I'm gonna keep this on my watch list. I'll look into this company tomorrow. But yeah, very, very interesting. That up there. Shout out to the guy in the chat for requesting that. And then just the final one, just to bring it up. We didn't bring it up earlier. I took it off my watch list earlier today when it got stopped out. But BBIG was a failed trade. It just, I don't know. It just didn't work out. At this point for BBIG, it hit the stop. It pretty much closed like 1 cent under it. So I don't know if this is going to turn into a stop hunt or whatever, but we'll see. It's still in this interesting zone, you know, resistance over here, support over here, support over here, support over here in July. We'll see if he could still bounce off this zone. There still is a potential for hitting bullish divergence whenever the MACD crosses over to green on the daily. So it still has a lot of things going for it. I mean, even if we look at it like this, it still is around the PCZ of a bullish Gartley. So from a technical standpoint, not too much really changed. There actually is a little bit of hit and bearish divergence on the 4-hour now, but again, just straightforward. I have a system for all my trades. It's not perfect, especially when mid caps and small caps are just really rough to swing compared to large caps. But same for my system. I personally stop out when things get to my stop area. Sometimes that'll screw you over. I don't know if it happens on this one, but you can always do whatever you want. We'll see what happens with this in the future. I'm rooting for it. You know, I'm not trying to hate on Integra just because it was a failed trade. The idea still is pretty similar. It's just the price action is not that good for right now. So hopefully that becomes better for it. And we'll see what happens with Vinco Ventures. Russell 2000 futures down about 1/5%. S&P and NASDAQ futures are relatively flat. Bitcoin is at 38.2 or 38.3K. And yeah, I think that'll be it for the stream. I was thinking it was going to be a shorter stream, but it was pretty much around the same time. I feel like I say that every single night, but I'll make sure to get my camera fixed by tomorrow. Even though I guess it looks fine to everybody here. I get very picky about how everything in my stream looks. So yeah, appreciate everybody supporting the stream. Thank you for the 30 likes. Have a great night. Good luck trading tomorrow. Join the Discord. The link's in the description. Follow me on Twitter at Champion Vibe. Subscribe to the stream. Hit the like button. And have a great night. Peace out.